Tyler Rowland, Locked on Titans, joins us to start the show as we continue to preview the Titans. Tyler, I got the Bears beating Tennessee 30-17. I'm thinking that the Titans don't even need to show up at Soldier Field on Sunday. Caleb Williams is here. Do you have any pushback to my prediction? Not that I haven't made that official on the show yet, but that's what I will be saying on Sunday. I'm saying it here, 30-17. That's what I'm feeling. What do you think?
I have a little pushback. I might have just a little bit of pushback on the way, but I think the game will be closer than that, regardless of who wins. I went into the week predicting that the Bears would win the game. I feel differently now after learning a little bit more about the Bears from, different conversations I've had throughout the week on different Bears shows and just looking back at some of the things from the defense last year. And I think it's going to be a close game either way, though, no matter who wins. Obviously, I'm conflicted, as you can hear. I think I'm ultimately going to lean Titans 20-17, but I don't think either team is getting 30 points in this one. I think it's early, and with where these teams are at, that may be a little too optimistic, I guess.
Well, let's get into that then. Specifically for the things that made you change your mind, what are some of the top things that did that for you?
So I would say two things, one on each side of the ball. Number one, I'm not as worried about the Bears pass rush as maybe I was during the summer. I think that's just, I don't cover the Bears every day. So I know they added Montez Sweat, but I'm looking at some of the other options. I see DeMarcus Walker, who's a good player, not great. I liked Austin Booker coming out of Kansas, but that's a rookie in week one. Am I really, is he really going to go crazy in their rush packages with Walker on the inside? I don't know. I feel a little more confident about the Titans offensive line too, after some of the preseason performances. So I think the Titans offensive line being a little better than I thought they might be. And then the Bears pass rush, maybe not scaring me quite as much. That gives me a little more faith in the Titans offense. And then on the other side of the ball, the interior trio of the Chicago Bears with Tevin Jenkins and Nate Davis, a former Titan. I think with the Titans, what we saw from the Titans in the preseason and knowing what they're going to plan to do on defense, I think they're going to be able to take advantage of the A-gaps.
So since you brought up Nate Davis there, Tyler, and just I think every Bears fan just got pricked a little bit there. We just felt it. Did you know when the Bears signed Nate Davis that Nate Davis perhaps didn't love the game of football to the level that some players love the game of football? I don't know if that's fair to say it like that, but that's how it feels.
I understand that that's been a conversation, so I don't think it's crazy for you to lean into that right there. But no, it wasn't really something. But to be honest with you, the Titans had a guard who was set to be the starter at right guard this year retire a week into training camp in Sadiq Charles, and he was in his second contract. He had finally got through that rookie contract, and he was like, this just isn't for me, and quits in the middle of training camp. So I think that shows up after the rookie deal. You play your rookie deal, you got drafted, and now you're into that second contract or your year after, and maybe you're not quite as excited. So we didn't see that in Tennessee particularly, but I know that he's missed a lot of time, and guys who maybe don't love it as much don't push through those injuries as often.
Yeah, and he lost his mother last year, so I think there was a grace. Yeah, it was obviously, and for most Bears fans, I think we gave a grace period for Nate Davis and that. But then this year, he's missed a lot of training camp, and even for Matt Eberflus, the head coach of the Bears, you could tell through the press conferences that they kind of reached the end of the line, like time to get out here and start practicing. Tyler, when I look at the Tennessee Titans and I listen to you, talking with Lauren Cox earlier and breaking down your expectations of this team, it does remind me a lot of what we went through as Bears fans last year, where there's just a lot of unknowns, a lot of new faces. You've got the new defensive coordinator, a new head coach, a quarterback specifically that's in a prove-it year, a lot like Justin was last year. Like, is this going to be our quarterback of the future? So I'm sure as Titans fans, you guys want all of that stuff to work out so you can be a surprise team, but a lot of times that doesn't happen. Now, with Will Levis specifically, what are your thoughts on him coming into this game week one, facing a very tough secondary here in Chicago on the road, and overall what your expectations that he can be the guy that you hope he can be?
Well, first, I just have to say I am a Kyler Gordon stan. I love physical nickel corners, so I just got to say I do love Kyler Gordon. But I think from Will Levis, you need to make it easy on him. in this game. Like, it's going to be a hostile environment. Bears fans are fired up. Like, you finally got the guy that you can really believe in. Even when they brought Fields in, it wasn't the number one pick, his first round, but it's like, yeah, we think so. He dropped in the draft a little. We went and got him to take a chance, but this needs to hit. Like, Caleb Williams is the guy that people have been talking about for years. So I think the environment is going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. Soldier Field is going to be shaken, and not just Will Levis that I'm worried. He's a young quarterback still. He only started 9 games, but brand new wide receiver group, basically, with Boyd and Ridley, brand new offensive line, brand new system, brand new playbook, brand new play caller. Brian Callahan has been calling plays up in the booth in Cincinnati, or not calling the plays, but working on that up in the booth. And now he's down on the field. So much is new that what you don't want to do is you don't want to put it all on Will Levis dropping back 35, 40 times. They need to run the football. They need to take advantage of the screen game. They need to be in third and manageable, because those audibles out and those checks out to the wide receiver, you can't just look at Calvin Ridley and be like, oh, we've seen this coverage before. I just got to look at you and to change things. They're going to have to communicate that, and it's going to be hard to do it. So my thing for Will Levis in this game is make it easy on him. And as the team grows together and gets more comfortable, then he can, let him loose later in the season when there's more comfortability there. But I think you need to really treat him like a rookie quarterback in this one.
So I got this as the Kevin Byard revenge game here, Tyler. And that's part of the reason how I got to 30, because I'm going pick 6. This dude has been talking about playing Tennessee since he got here. Like, this game is circled. And he's made a huge impact in the Bears locker room. I think the respect for him is big time. This guy, what would you tell Bears fans they're getting in Byard that they perhaps haven't figured out already?
Well, number one for me is leadership. Like, the human being that people say that all the time, but the human being that Kevin Byard is top notch. This is kind of off the wall. You would think McNair, Henry, George. My favorite Tennessee Titan of all time is Kevin Byard. Like, he, to me, is everything that you want a Tennessee Titan to be. Now, I will say this. Off of that sentimental stuff, on the field, he has lost a step. He is not the athlete that he was 3-4 years ago. That's just nature. There's nothing you can do about that. But he's so instinctual. He's so good at reading the quarterback's eyes. He's so smart with his preparation. He had a pick 6 in Los Angeles in 2021 when the Titans got the 1 seed, and the way he broke down that play in a little media appearance afterwards, of knowing that they had a condensed formation on the right side and looking at the wide receiver splits and understanding that was going to be an out route that he could cut under. He just can use his brain and his eyes to make up for maybe a little loss of a step in the feet and still make plays. As long you guys have good around him in the back 7, which allows him to be free. He doesn't have to play man coverage on tight ends. He doesn't have to be too locked in. He can float. And when he does that, he creates turnovers. And that's what modern NFL defenses are trying to do.
So yesterday we kind of played a game of what worried us most about the Bears matching up with the Titans, and then who were our breakout candidates as Bears players going into this game. So I'll give you both those. Double-barreled question here. What worries you most when you look at this matchup? And then who's a breakout player that you think can come out of this that nobody's really talking about with the Titans?
Well, what worries me most is Caleb Williams. So the Titans, as a result of the Titans' edge rush. So Harold Landry is a good player, but he's not an elite edge rusher like Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, guys like this. Like, even Montez Sweat, I would say, is a better player than Harold Landry. And on the other side, the Titans don't really have another starting edge. So if those guys play undisciplined and allow Caleb Williams to get outside and play make and get into his natural habitat, like, that's what he has done his whole life. He's going to have to get better as a pocket passer, just because you got to win from the pocket. But early on, it's week 1. You want to win a game at home. If Caleb Williams starts rolling out and throwing those sidewinders and crossbody passes, playmaking and forcing the Titans secondary to cover for forever, that's going to be hard to deal with all game long. So the one thing that scares me the most, I guess, from the Titans side of it and from the Bears side of it, is Caleb Williams doing what he does best, because that stresses a defense. And it also seems more likely to happen because the Titans' edge rush is maybe not as – they got a 7th-round rookie and Arden Key on the other side from Harold Landry. And Arden Key is an undisciplined rusher, should not be a starter for this team. And Jalen Harrell had a good camp in preseason, but he's a 7th-round rookie. They're prone to make mental mistakes, and I'm worried about letting Caleb Williams out the back door.
It's on the table that Matt Eberflus becomes the NFL head coach of the year, and the guy looks good. Locker room seems like he's owned it pretty well.
And there's an Oscar for Hard Knocks.
I mean, a lot of Flus respect out there. But, Tyler, if this thing goes south, the Bears perhaps, unlikely, but could be looking for a head coach. Why do you think Mike Vrabel didn't get more run and even got released, period? Like, would you rather have Brian Callahan or Mike Vrabel?
Well, I had respect for Matt Eberflus when he was the defensive coordinator of the Colts because I got to watch that go down all the time. They were so good in Indy on defense. But for me personally, I'm Brian Callahan. And last year at the end of the year, I kept saying the same thing, and I'll say it now. Mike Vrabel is a good football coach, but he was not the right football coach for the Titans. Mike Vrabel is a guy, you see this, I feel like it's more common in baseball. You have these old school managers who they maybe wouldn't do well with a young team, with young players who just got out of the farm system, who are trying to kind of develop, but they would do real good with a vet team to make sure that they just do the right things and they don't make mental mistakes and beat themselves. Mike Vrabel needs to take over more of a complete, ready team. The Titans are trying to rebuild on the fly and added a lot of pieces, but a lot of their players that really need to step up and develop are younger guys. So the Titans needed someone who could focus on that development of a younger team that's in a transition rather than a steely vet like Mike Vrabel, who really needs to take over a veteran roster that's ready to win. I think Vrabel is better with those vets than he is like a young quarterback. So for me, I wanted Mike Vrabel to be fired. It was time for him to go. Great run. Second best coach in Titans history since they moved to Nashville. But I'm team Brian Callahan, and he's talking about EPA in the press conferences and using data and talking about being efficient, throwing the ball on early downs and stopping the pass. It's just such a breath of fresh air after 25 years of ground and pound.
I got 30 seconds here, Tyler. I pulled one quote that I saw in people making predictions. Quote, Tennessee Titans are going to be a surprise team because of their ultra-aggressive offseason following another double-digit loss season. They will force their way into contention in the AFC South and a chance at the playoffs. What do you think? You're nodding your head yes.
I think if Will Levis hits, all of that is possible. If he doesn't, it's not. That simple.
All right, the Bears are going to pick him off 3 times on Sunday, and then we'll call you back. We'll see. We shall see. Tyler, thanks for being a good sport, man. We appreciate you jumping on.
Absolutely. Good luck on Sunday.
Yes, sir. Enjoy.
Back at you. I
Stay
guess
healthy.
We'll be friendly. Tyler Rowland, Locked on Titans.
We all silly like the mayor.